Kevin Levrone, the unfinished war of a muscle god. In the ruthless world of professional bodybuilding, where muscle gods rise and fall like gladiators in the arena, one name echoes like a ghost in the iron halls: Kevin Levrone. He wasn't supposed to be a legend. He wasn't supposed to come close. But he did, again and again, without ever fully conquering the mountain. And that's what makes his story so haunting. Kevin Levrone was born on July 16, 1964, in Baltimore, Maryland. A city known for its grit and grime. And Kevin's early life, no fairy tale. By age 12, he had lost both parents to cancer. While other kids played ball, Kevin buried grief so deep that it turned into steel. Life didn't give him a choice. It gave him a reason to become something more than human. He found that reason in the gym. By the time he stepped onto a pro stage in 1991, Levrone had already started making waves. And in 1992, just 1 year after turning pro, he nearly pulled off the impossible. He placed second at Mr. Olympia in his rookie year. Let that sink in. A newcomer walking into bodybuilding's most sacred battleground and going toe-to-toe with the reigning king, Dorian Yates. That should have been the beginning of a reign. Instead, it was the start of a war against fate. Shortly after his 1992 Olympia breakthrough, disaster struck. Levrone was bench pressing an insane amount of weight, rumored to be over 600 pounds, when his pectoral muscle tore completely off the bone. Not partially, completely. Surgeons told him he might not lift again. Some whispered that his career was over before it had even begun. But Kevin Levrone isn't wired like normal men. With bolts in his shoulder and a scar like a battle wound across his chest, he came back. Not a year later, not two. Just months after the injury, he was back on stage, ripping through competitions like a man possessed. In 1994, he returned to the Olympia stage, defying the odds, and, once again, placed second. But no matter how hard he pushed, the crown remained out of reach. Second. Third. Second again. He was always almost the best in the world. And the thing is, many believed he should have won. He had it all. Freaky muscle bellies, insane symmetry, a jaw-dropping V-taper, charisma, poise, stage presence. In the off-season, he trained like a ghost, vanishing for months, then emerging as a monster weeks before the show. He would bulk up and cut down in a matter of weeks, a feat almost no one could replicate. It was superhuman. It was terrifying. And yet, no Sandow, no Mr. Olympia title. Was it politics? Favoritism? Bad timing? No one knows for sure. What we do know is that Levrone kept showing up. Again. And again. And again. He wasn't just fighting other men. He was fighting against time, pain, doubt, and a body that had been torn apart and stitched back together. And then, in 2003, after over a decade of chasing the dream, Kevin Levrone disappeared. Just like that. No grand exit, no farewell tour. He walked away from the sport without saying goodbye. Fans were stunned. Had he given up? Had the iron finally broken him? The silence lasted 13 years. Then, like a thunderclap, came the shock of a lifetime. In 2016, at the age of 51, Kevin Levrone announced his return to the Olympia stage. It wasn't a comeback. It was a resurrection. The bodybuilding world went into meltdown. Could he actually do it? Could a man over 50 stand among giants half his age? No one believed he could. Except Kevin. He trained with a fury that defied biology. He rebuilt his body, pushing tendons and joints that had long since passed their expiration date. And when he stepped on stage in Las Vegas at the 2016 Mr. Olympia, the crowd rose to their feet. The moment wasn't about placings. It wasn't about trophies. It was about defiance. It was about the return of a warrior. He didn't win, but he didn't have to. Because Kevin Levrone isn't remembered as the man who won the most. He's remembered as the man who never stopped fighting. He was a living contradiction. Soft-spoken, yet ferocious. Stylish, yet savage. A rock star in the age of giants. He played guitar, loved music, and carried himself with quiet dignity. But when the lights hit that stage, he became something primal. The Maryland Muscle Machine. His story is one of unfinished greatness, and that's what makes it unforgettable. He wasn't robbed of a title. He transcended it. He wasn't defined by victory. He was defined by the war. And maybe that's why his legend endures. Because in a sport filled with champions, Kevin Levrone was something rarer. A fighter. A survivor. A myth in motion. Kevin Levrone, the legend who never bowed, the Iron Warrior of 2025. In a world where muscle and might are measured in shakes, supplements, and social media posts, one name remains an eternal echo in the gym's iron jungle. Kevin Levrone, the man who refused to be forgotten. The man who shattered expectations, defied injuries, and danced with destiny itself. In 2025, his name still haunts the bodybuilding world like a ghost that refuses to die. Here's the truth. Kevin Levrone wasn't just a bodybuilder. He was a manifestation of defiance, the embodiment of a battle against time, against injury, against all the odds. A living legend whose story should have ended decades ago. Yet, here he is, still a king among mortals in an age where the true warriors are few and far between. From predictions to explosions. Born in 1964 in Baltimore, Kevin was never supposed to be anything more than a kid from a rough neighborhood. But tragedy sculpted him. The loss of both parents to cancer at the age of 12 was the furnace that hardened his resolve. From the moment he stepped into a gym, Kevin wasn't just training his body. He was forging a weapon. His muscles became armor. His mind, a sharpened edge. In 1991, Kevin Levrone exploded onto the scene with an intensity that set the bodybuilding world on fire. He was a rookie with the potential to dethrone legends. And in 1992, just 1 year after turning pro, he nearly toppled the reigning king, Dorian Yates, placing second in Mr. Olympia. Second. Not bad for a newcomer, right? But that's the thing about Levrone. He never played it safe. He didn't just compete. He hunted. And that second place was just the first sign.
Like, share, and subscribe. American Beast Motivation.